Okay, Bear's gonna teach us how to cook tonight. Oh, okay, no, he's not. He's just gonna show us how to eat it tonight. Hi, we're back, and tonight we're making cashew chicken, which sounds really good. So we're gonna have chicken, obviously, for cashew chicken. Cashews for cashew chicken. Got some minced up garlic, some green onion, which looks like that. So that's a different onion than the normal I use, but green onion. We've got some other spices and goodness over here that we'll be adding in. And then we will put it all together and have some wonderful cashew chicken. So the first thing is we're going to switch sides. There we go, so I can get to it. So first thing is we need to put in about a quarter cup of cornstarch with the chicken. So I've cubed up the chicken into like 1-inch little cubes there. And we want to put in about a quarter cup of cornstarch with that to kind of give it a little bit of breading. Now, I put the oil in to heat in the pan already, so this has got oil in it, so this may kind of stick in here, but we'll see. Yeah, that's about a quarter cup. It wasn't too bad. All right, I'm gonna go. So we just want to make sure that all of the chicken is coated. It's going to give it that little bit of a breading and crusty outer layer. There. Now it says to do these like half at a time and layer, but my pan's big enough that I'm not gonna have to do that. I think I can do the chicken all at once here. These are all broken apart, so they're all browning and not clustered on top of each other. Of course, that one wants to tighten. All right, I'm gonna do that until they're lightly brown on both sides. So we'll flip those a little bit. And of course, when using light colored food like cornstarch, you want to wear dark outfits so that you can get it all well done on your shirt. It's only when you want to use marinara sauce you should wear white so you can get it on that. Anyway, so one thing I want to talk about is you notice that all my stuff is prepped. I had the chicken already cubed up. I had the garlic minced up, the onions chopped up. Everything's all kind of prepped, and I do that for two reasons. One, so that you're not necessarily having to stand there or sit there, probably sitting there watching the video, and watch me do all this. It takes a long time. But it's also, I have found through experience, that what you want to be able to do is get stuff in when it's ready, and not have, when you're going through the recipe and it says, now add this, you go, oh, I haven't chopped that yet. Meanwhile, stuff is heating too much or browning too much or whatever, while you're still doing stuff. So prep it as much as you can ahead of time, so that all you gotta do is put it into the pan when it's ready. So a tip I learned by screwing up many times. Flip all these. You see they're already getting a little lightly browned on one side. Yeah, just a little bit. I wanted to cook a little slower. I want to make sure that the inside of the chicken is cooked and not just the outside. So I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit so that it doesn't cook too fast. Once that is all browned, we're going to come back and put in the garlic and the onion. We'll actually take the chicken out, we'll put the garlic and the onions in, and the garlic and the ginger in. Speaking of which, so we're using ginger. The recipe calls for a teaspoon of minced ginger. So you can buy the ginger root that looks like an alien being. You buy one of those and chop it and mince it up. I've got ground ginger, which I looked it up and it said for 1 tablespoon of minced ginger, of raw ginger, you want to use 1 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. So this only called for 1 teaspoon of ginger, which means you could use a little bit of ginger, like 1/8 teaspoon. So you want to double check and make sure if you're going to use raw ginger that you're mincing up, that's great. But if you're going to use the ground ginger, make sure you double check and don't put in as much ground ginger as you would for fresh ginger, because it's definitely much more pungent to do it that way. All right, we're gonna give that a couple more minutes, and when we come back, I'll start adding the rest of the stuff in. All right, so we've got browned chicken over here. Cooked through pretty well. I checked one and it's not pink inside, which is what we don't want. So I'm going to remove this now from the pan. Put it here on a plate. And I'm being careful as I dump it out here because it said leave about 1 tablespoon of oil left in the pan, which is about there. I'm gonna maybe add a little more in. And then we want to put in our minced garlic and our ginger. So, minced garlic. Ginger, which again we just want to use 1/8 teaspoon of the ground ginger. Let that cook for just a minute or so. And then in the meantime, now we're going to put in we're going to have our chicken broth, our rice vinegar, our sweet chili sauce, soy sauce, ketchup, and brown sugar that we're going to put all together and whisk in the bowl here. So we want a half cup of the chicken broth. We want a quarter cup of, oops, got the wrong one. A quarter cup of the soy sauce. I'm just going to use half of a half cup. We want 2 tablespoons, so tablespoon, teaspoon, tablespoon. We want 2 tablespoons of the rice vinegar. 1, 2. I'm gonna go over here and stir my mixture over here, make sure it's not getting too done. We want a quarter cup of ketchup. So once again, a half cup. You want 2 tablespoons of the sweet chili sauce. 1, 2, and 2 teaspoons of the brown sugar. One, 2, and then whisk all that together. Oh, okay, so, by the way, after telling you, make sure all your stuff is prepped and ready to go. Yeah, well, I forgot we're making rice tonight too. So while we were away, we got our rice cooker out and got the rice started. Now, if you're using one of those newfangled cooks everything porta potties or whatever they're called, you can use that. But you put rice in a pan, in a pot, and boil the water and do that. It's really difficult. Sometimes it sticks a lot and it's hard to get just right. The rice cooker works wonderfully. Those little porta potty things, whatever they're called, work great too. But we want to obviously have some rice with our cashew chicken tonight. So we've now got that going, since I forgot to get that going ahead of time. All right, so now we're going to bring this whole sauce over here. Turn up the heat just a bit because we want it to bring it to a nice simmer. And now we're going to get another bowl and get a little more cornstarch. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to have to wash off my tablespoon thing here. 2. See, I want to make sure this is really dry, because if I stick that in the cornstarch wet, then I'm going to ruin the rest of my cornstarch. So 1, 2 cornstarch. Got to go over here. See, now we're already simmering. I want to keep this not boiling, but just turn it down a little bit so it can simmer. And then with cornstarch, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of cold water. One, 2. We're just gonna mix all that up. All right. Now, with that simmering, we're gonna pour that mixture in. See, it's kind of, the cornstarch is thickening it up. You want to bring the heat up just a little bit, kind of bring it to almost a boil. Trying to break down some of those lumps there of the cornstarch so that it's all mixing together. All right, we just need that to cook for a minute or so. And then we're gonna add the chicken back in and the cashews, which you can use, I think it's like a half cup of cashews. I'll just throw a bunch in. I'm not gonna measure that. So, you know, I don't measure a lot. I kind of say that's about right and that looks good and that's about. For the sauce, I was a little more exact, if you noticed. I was doing 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons on that, because for sauces like this, especially when you're not completely confident on how much to use on some things, I will go as close to the actual measurements as possible, because I want to taste good. So some things you can do by taste, and some things you really gotta kind of follow the recipe on it. Okay, that's going. Time for the chicken to go back in. Mix all that sauce in there. It smells really good. And then we want to get our cashews in, about a half a cup. Now, this is something you can just kind of say, yeah, that's about right. All right, so I'm gonna let that heat for just a little bit. turn the heat down, let that simmer for a while. And in 15 minutes or so, we'll have some rice. And we'll have rice and chicken cashew. So we'll be back when the rice is done, and this is essentially done. We're done here. We'll wait for the rice, which should have been started earlier, but I'm not a professional. And once that's done, we'll have a finished meal. So back in just a minute. Okay, we're back for the unveiling. So the rice is done now. Ooh, hot steam. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, so now we have some brown rice that we've done up here. I will scoop a little brown rice out here for the first plate. And we have our cashew chicken here. And then, because presentation is everything, you're supposed to garnish it with that's where the green onions come in, is garnishing it with that. So it adds a little color and pizzazz, and anyway, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so a little more rice with it. And we have our cashew chicken here. We're going to have enough for leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Can't forget the garnishing. Got to make that look fancy. Okay. So there we have cashew chicken for two. And now comes the test. The test is, will I burn my mouth on the cashew chicken? What are you looking at? That works. Okay, so there we go. Cashew chicken. It wasn't really that hard. The sauce, you need some things you may not have around normally. The rice vinegar and the sweet chili sauce, but pretty simple sauce. Brown chicken, throw cashews in. Don't forget the rice, and then you have it. So here we go. Cashew chicken, and we'll see you next time.